I have been on a path to save the disillusioned and disenfranchised and the very mind-numbingly stupid white saviors, because I feel as though they are a hurt species. They spend their time waking up, not even brushing their ass or rinsing their mouth, walking around being told that they're the problem 24/7 by black people who don't acknowledge they're the problem, and their fixation on paying attention to 400 years that they never lived because they always tweet through an iPhone is a disastrous way to think about life, because you're never going to be able to escape the shackles of being divided, and you will never come together. And this is just the latest example of why I believe we got to get rid of all these concepts of making sure that white people always bow down and get on their knees and suck on some black people, because no matter how hard you try, the black people who you get this information from do not like you.
White people, I need you to know that your money will not assuage you from your guilt.
All that money y'all gave to BLM that was described to be white guilt money, not you caring about your bunch of lives that were taken unjustly, not you actually wanting to do something that you felt in your mind could have made a difference, even though it didn't. No. None of that money. Whether if you donated $1, 1 penny, $100, or even $1,000, or even $1 million, it means nothing, because you are still a white person, and you will always be evil to the eyes of the disenfranchised person of color who has 4 eyes and big ass earrings.
You cannot pay your way out of this. There aren't enough reparations in the world that you can pay us.
Yes, Queen, even though reparations won't solve anything in the black community, you just want money. You can have all the money in the world, you're just gonna blow it on dumb shit, and every black person is not gonna get a cut of that money, so some of y'all are gonna steal from one another.
And so you think because you write a check or you slide me something in Venmo that you're absolved, and you can tell somebody, well, I gave Dr. Blay $100. I'm not racist. Dr. Blay is going to spend your $100 and still tell you that you're racist.
Congratulations. And the white woman eats it up because she knows she's in on the game. Oh, I've been told by these 20-something-year-olds and these 40-something-year-olds, because they know everything about being black because their experience is just like the slaves back in the day. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. You can understand me. All I have to do is give you money. What do you mean I'm still gonna be racist? What do you mean this doesn't absolve me? What do you mean this doesn't take away all the negativity that my ancestors, who I've never met because they were in the ground while I was in my dad's penis, what do you mean I am still a result of bigotry, supremacy, hatred, and racism? This is just the first step. We have yet another example of disillusionment towards the white people, because yet you have another black woman, the most disrespected group in American history, telling you straight up, anti-racist activists suggest white people need to be reprogrammed. You must have your mind altered to be non-violent, because it's in your nature, it's in your DNA. And trust, we can always take the word of a black woman with 4 eyes and big earrings.
White people do not inherently have empathy. And it's something that I've talked about for more than a year.
Oh.
And one of the reasons is because it has not been modeled.
Oh.
If you look at the epigenetic nature of white folks, especially European Americans,
Genetics, big D, small D alleles.
White American people, there is this long-standing history of violence.
Oh.
And there has been no effort,
None.
no intention,
None.
no work for white people to unpack it.
I will teach you white people how to unpack it right now. Here's the easiest way that you can unpack all that genetic violence you have in your body. Groundbreaking information coming from the scientist in the room. You just don't be a dick to people. You can look at the world, you can wake up, and you can want to treat people equally and fairly. Even the people who you disagree with on several different topics. All you gotta do is just treat them with respect. If they disrespect you, give them disrespect back, because that's what it means to be equal in this world, to give and to take. And for somebody to make it seem as if it's in your genetics to be violent, even though Lil Mary up the street don't even know how to ball up her fist, I cannot stomach this type of bigotry and delusion coming from somebody who I believe to be smart because she has 4 eyes. This is nonsensical.
So it doesn't really matter what type of community. It doesn't matter what the effort. White people don't have any practice in doing anything that is anti-oppressive. The things they have practiced doing together is violence, right? It's coming together.
Yeah, white people, you get you some weed and you smoke together. That's violent. You buy a ticket to a football game. You want to watch the football game with your white family. Oh, that's violent. Cooking animals, turning them into burgers and bacon. Technically, that is violent towards the animals, but we don't care about PETA around here. We like to get some bacon and some pig pussy.
To do what? Overthrow the government. Coming together to do what? Perform a lynching. Coming together to what? Perform violence. Win a war.
Excuse me, winning a war is not white. That's America.
Play a game. Do a thing, right? To others. What has to happen first and foremost before there's any movement for white folks around change, around justice, around progress, is they have to first unpack that inherent violence that sits in them. Now, they cannot
the
do
inherent
that,
violence
right,
deep
unless
inside.
they're under some sort of leadership, coaching, and mentorship of people who are more marginalized than they are.
And there it is. Let me stop the very intelligent black woman while I take my 4 eyes off and turn them into 2. Listen, my dear delusional white person and my disillusioned black person who's nodding their head in agreement with the woman with 4 eyes. Do you understand that nothing makes sense there? You cannot look at a group of people who you've never met and you just go based off their skin color and say, you all are inherently violent and it's time for you to be reprogrammed because your mind is not equipped. And don't worry, I will be the one to teach you how to be non-violent because my community is nothing but marginalized. Yes, we could show all these different clips of black people fighting for black lives by robbing the fucking Nike store, but that's just because we're marginalized. We don't know any better. We're the disillusioned, dumb, disenfranchised persons of color, and we just exist. We're just doing what the white people taught us. The Boston Tea Party, random factoid over here, random factoid over there. It's just what we do because we're marginalized, and that's the perfect excuse. Hey, you, right there, Miss Susie, Uncle Earl, you're white. You know what you should do? You should pay me to teach you how to not be an institutional bigot whose simple cries are hurting the disenfranchised person of color. You're a pregnant woman crying over a bike because a black teenager has his hands on it? Mwah! Racism. You are concerned that there's somebody out and about thieving and taking from the world? Mwah! Bigotry and supremacy. You have a complaint about somebody being overtly too loud and they end up shooting into your house and could have killed you or your children? That's bigotry on the highest level. Don't take my word for it. Take the word of the disenfranchised black woman.
So what happens in these other spaces where you may have neurodivergent folks or queer folks or, whatever, right?
None of these people have ever been violent, ever, apparently.
Right. There are all these other marginalized identities that people fail to realize that unless you are black, those other marginalized identities do not outweigh the marginalization of black people.
You know what? I actually agree. Because when it comes to the oppression Olympics, yeah, you got the transgenders right there. Maybe they squeeze in the 3rd place. Then you got, the women. Maybe they etch it out as 2nd place. You know what I'm saying? But the number one, the gold medal always goes to the black because I'm so disenfranchised. I am always oppressed. I am always a victim. And I demand you white saviors do whatever you can to support me and my BLM movement, not Black Lives Matter, because that organization only cares about certain black lives when it's convenient, and they've run out of black lives to care about, so now they're going to start paying attention to the Latinos or the Latinxes of the world. So you can support the BLM mobile. We're at 3% of our goal, and I will be using your white guilt money to spread the good word, not of BLM, but bringing Leon his money because I'm such a poor, disenfranchised person of color. And your money would actually be used for something useful and not be used to just call you a racist whenever you say something negative to somebody who has a darker shade of skin complexion from you.
Happens when you don't talk about it. This is what happens when white people don't talk about it, is you have racist dog whistle tropes like this that actually perpetuate and perpetuate and perpetuate. So I did not come on this show to sit here and argue with another white man. That's one of the reasons that we don't even engage with white men at Race to Dinner. You know, because quite honestly, if white men were going to do something about racism, you had 400 years. You could have done it. Okay? So
I am 58 years old.
I'm shutting you down right now.
She is preying on white women's stupidity to get them to pay $750 to unravel the whiteness within themselves.
Charleston, South Carolina last summer, I get into my Lyft, and the guy turned around and looked at me and he said, "Lady," he goes, "I hate to have to say this to you, but if I get pulled over, you're just another black woman," and he's black, and he said, "Put your hands up, do as they say, do not make any trouble."
He actually told you that.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, dear God.
Of course.
To protect her.
To protect him and to protect me.
Where were you?
That's the life he lives.
And so-
that's his reality.
But that's
insane.
But
that's his reality, whether it's insane or
No,
not.
I'm not saying he's insane. I'm saying
I get it.
insane.
But
Can you
what
explain
we're
that?
saying is, this is America.
I want to ask also to stop acting shocked. So part of white feminism is acting so surprised when we
This is
tell you.
surprise.
But it is. Why are you telling us not to act the way that we act? If it is surprising.
And that is the beauty of what it means to be equal. That is the beauty of what it means to have everybody join hands and participate in the worldwide circle jerk of American society, because we are one, we are true, and that's what it means for us to hold hand in hand, rubbing nipples and having a fun time. I hope I taught you all how to be civil, respectful, and not a bigot. And all you had to do was waste just a few minutes of your time watching my YouTube video. Subscribe